Today we are going to be talking about abundance, what it is to be abundant, how do you get to this frequency of abundance, and specifically what days in January can you use to magnify your abundance. As above, so below. So I always say it's better to work with the cosmos than to work against it. So I'm going to tell you specific dates during this month on how you can manifest and use the energies of these specific days to manifest abundance. So if that's something that you are interested in, make sure that you stay tuned. Peace and love, family. I am Ocean Yinka, your favorite womb goddess. And if we are meeting for the first time, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so glad to have you here. If you stumbled across this content, more than likely you are on a wellness journey and you are looking to tap into your soft girl era. So you are in the right place. On this channel, we talk specifically about divine feminine energy, tapping into spirituality, and holistic healing to our womb. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscription button and don't forget to hit the notification bell because we do go live every single night to talk about important conversations just like this. If we are not meeting for the first time, y'all already know what to do. Give me a thumbs up, drop some purple hearts down in a comment, and share this video with anybody that you think may benefit from this content. So when we hear the word abundance, a lot of times people associate abundance with material success and having material gains in this physical realm. That's what a lot of people ask for when they're referring to abundance, when they're using the mantra, I am abundant, I want to be more abundant, and things like that. They're talking about cash flow, they're talking about material success, followers, and things like that on the physical realm. One thing that I learned, I didn't start to see real abundance in my life until I started to change my perspective of what abundance was. I feel like a lot of people go into their spiritual journey, on their wellness journey, their awakening. Most people go either from a heartbreak when they're trying to find love, or they do it when they are down broke and they're trying to just survive. One of the two, that's usually how people end up coming into their awakening or coming to their spiritual journey. And more times than none, it's usually people being sick and tired of being broke, which is very much so understandable. Like it's not easy to think of gratitude or be on a level of gratitude or be on a level of abundance when you're constantly in lack. So what did I do to get into a mindset of abundance, to get into a state of not being in lack and not having to want for anything? One of the main things that I did when it came to abundance was changing my mindset around what abundance is. So I always tell my students, I always tell my clients, when you are on this journey, I tell my students, shout out to the Rebirth Society. I tell my students all the time, there's an initiation into becoming a medicine woman. And if you don't know, every single Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I train women around the world to be certified Yoni Steam practitioners. This is a master course that I teach for free every single week. The link will be down in the description if that's something that you are interested in. But every single week I teach this course. And in this course, there's an initiation process midway through the course that I tell people to do. During this initiation, is a part of it is spending a lot of time in nature. The reason being that I tell people to spend a lot of time in nature is because that's one of the things that I was taught when I was learning how to be more grateful, how to be more abundant, how to be more magnetic. The reason why being in nature helps you to be at a higher level of abundance, and it helps you to see abundance in different avenues, is because when you are in nature, you are seeing God's abundance at its magnitude. Well, it doesn't matter where you are in nature, you can practice the abundance test, or you can practice this art of abundance. So if, say you're outside at the lake, I spend a lot of time at the lake. If I'm outside at the lake, I'm looking at this big lake. I'm out in Texas, but I'm looking at this big lake It's not possible for me to see one end of the lake to the other end of the lake. That's an abundance of water. When I'm sitting on the ground, it's impossible for me to count every blade of grass. That's an abundance of grass. When I'm looking up at the stars, when I'm looking up at the trees, it's impossible for me to count every single leaf. When I see gnats everywhere, because gnats are attracted to water, it's impossible for me to count how many gnats are just swarming around or sitting over top of the water. That's an abundance. So when you are sitting in nature, you see the divine at its greatest magnitude, which is abundance. And then when you take the extra step to take your shoes off, to ground yourself in the soil, even if you're at the beach, it's impossible for you to count every single grain of sand. It's impossible for you to see the ocean to its ends and things like that. So when you are outside in nature, you get to see the abundance of everything, not only just in nature, but when you take a look outside. So say you are in business and say you are trying to look at, how can I be more magnetic? How can I get on this frequency of abundance? How can I get on this frequency of high earners and things like that? When you go outside, just scrolling in a car ride, look how many businesses that you see. Look how many, if you live in an apartment, look how many, just think of how much. I used to do this all the time. Like if I'm living in an apartment complex, I'm paying like $1,800 for rent. And I'm looking at how many people are in my building alone, and how many buildings are in this entire complex. How much money is this, whoever owns this building, how much money are they accumulating? You are in wealth. You're just on the other side of, you're in abundance. You're in the line of the frequency of abundance. You're just on the other end of it. So we are always surrounded by abundance. We are always surrounded by wealth. We are always surrounded by all of these things because we are all interconnected to one another. So when you start to look at the world through a lens of abundance, through a lens of wealth, that's how you start to change your perspective on what wealth is, and start to change your perspective on what abundance is. Because abundance is not just financial or monetized wealth. Abundance is also never having to go without. Abundance is always having what you need right when you need it. Abundance is having abundance of love, having an abundance of joy. A lot of people say have multiple streams of income, but I say have a multiple streams of happiness, have multiple streams of joy, have multiple streams of pleasure. Everything that you have there, everything that you want and you desire, you can have an abundance of all of it if you change your mindset about what abundance is. So one of the four main ways that we break down abundance, for one, obviously, is material abundance. That's the most that everybody is worried about because, a lot of people are in survival mode. So a lot of people look at material success or material abundance as the main source of abundance. That's cool too, but you usually have to break down and get to the other sources of abundance to even be on the frequency of material abundance. So those other tiers of abundance will be self-care and having an abundance of self-love and self-care. What are some rituals that you practice to stay grounded? What are some rituals that you practice to show yourself love, to show yourself appreciation, to show yourself forgiveness and things of that nature? What are some of the things that you practice in abundance to make sure that you are prospering on a higher level just on your physical realm? How are you eating? Are you eating an abundance of junk food, or are you eating an abundance of life? Are you having an abundance of wealth? Wealthy conversations, or are you having an abundance of gossip? Or do you watch an abundance of education, or do you watch abundance of entertainment? What are you consuming? What is your diet? Is it healthy? Is it an abundance of things that are on a higher frequency, or is it not? Be mindful of that. The more that you do for yourself, the more that you are showing yourself love and being abundant in the things that are high vibrational, the more that you also attract abundance. And again, all of these things are interconnected. So when you do one, it's a domino effect of the other. If I have an abundance of self-love, I'm also having abundance of relationships, abundance of outside love or love with other people. An abundance of relationships looks like people always showing up for you. people always helping you out when you need it and not the other way around. There's always a ram in the bush is what I always say. Like, there's always somebody. That's why I don't really worry about anything, because even when I don't have it, I know I've sown enough seeds into other people that something somewhere always comes through. So I'm never without. I'm never in a mindset of lack, because I know that there's always going to be somebody that's going to help me. I never know who. I never go, like, I don't have a magic ball or anything to always see who it is, but the divine always has somebody in alignment to come and save me when I need it at that very moment. And I don't mean saving me as in, I'm just out here looking for handouts. I mean opportunities coming to me. I mean people who genuinely just want to sow into me. People who, they look at me and say, hey, you're doing an amazing thing. Let me just plant this seed into you because I see you doing great things. Just good opportunities. So an abundance of relationships. So lastly, the fourth one would be an abundance of spirituality. Spiritual abundance is the source. Spiritual abundance is the key to all other tiers of abundance. And the reason why this is because when I say to go into nature to find abundance, to find God, to find that happy place of knowing that you are a part of something that is so magnificent and so abundant. This is spirit. This is spirit is what is abundant. When people say, again, this is shifting your mindset, right? So when people say, I am abundant, or, everything I touch is gold and things like that, this is coming from an abundant mindset, but from a spiritual aspect. So even though I might not physically have an abundance of resources, meaning that I might not have millions of dollars. I might not have a lot of friends, like, a lot of people who are in my life who are close to me. I might not have that in the physical, like tangible right here with me in the moment. But when I say that I am surrounded by wealth, when I say that I am prosperous, when I say that I have an abundance of resources, that is spiritual resources. I understand that they all coincide with one another, but you have to start with knowing that the spiritual resources is what connects everything to back to full circle. When we say we have a spiritual abundance, this is always knowing that there's energies on the other side that's helping me to manifest into the physical. There's always going to be, like I said, a ram in the bush. There's always going to be something that happens right in the midst of time, like right when I need it the most. That is also a form of abundance. Abundance is simply you not having lack in anything. And a lot of times we feel like abundance is always just having way more than enough. Yes, that is the ideal goal. That is what abundance is. But to scale that back, to not think of it as so big so that you can get to a point where you do have more than enough or plenty, your cup is running over, is to look at abundance is just simply not having lack. I have an abundance mindset even when I just have enough. Even when I just have enough, I'm still abundant, because it's some people who don't even have enough. So when I have just enough, I'm still grateful. That's the key to all of this. It's just simply being grateful for what you do have, for being prosperous, for being grateful for the prosperity that you do have, and not always looking at, I don't have enough because I don't have 10x. I don't have enough because, I just use the bare minimum. No, we do not want to be in a place where we're just getting by, where we're just making money to spend money, where we're living check to check. That is not abundance. But having enough is you having enough to pay your bills and still having a little bit left over. It might not be thousands and thousands of dollars left over or hundreds of thousands of dollars left over, but you have enough, and then you also have some left over. You might have the luxury of being able to save. That is abundance. You might have enough to, go treat yourself to something nice. That is abundance. But we have to understand that abundance is not always, once we get to the 6, 7, 8 figure marks. Abundance is you having just enough, or not just enough. You having enough, but a little more than enough is still abundant. Let's get to what days are magnified for you to practice abundance or to manifest abundance in the month of January. So we're already halfway through the month. I don't know what day it is today, but we're already halfway through the month. So these are some of the days for the rest of the month that we can utilize the energy to manifest certain things. So what are the best days that you can use to manifest material abundance? The days would be the 24th, the 25th, the 29th, and the 30th of January. So the 24th, the 25th, the 29th, and the 30th of January are all perfect days for you to manifest material abundance. Those are the days that you should be working your magic to meditate on material abundance. Light some green candles, light some red candles, get you some cinnamon brewing, like do whatever you do to manifest money. You can do those things on those dates. Now, the days to manifest relationships. And again, this is romantic relationships. This could be familiar relationships. This could be platonic relationships. It doesn't really matter. Business partners, whatever. This is a good day to manifest relationships. Your intention is what makes it whatever you're trying to bring in. So the best days to manifest relationships in the month of January, the best days to manifest relationships would be the 14th, the 15th, the 18th, and the 26th. So the 14th, the 15th, the 14th, the 15th, the 18th, and the 26th are all good days for you to manifest relationships, to set your intentions to bring people in. And yes, you can, for anybody who's wondering, yes, you can work your magic on each one of these days. You don't have to just pick one. It honestly will behoove you to use all of these days with the specific intention on each day to manifest certain things to amplify the energy. Now, to manifest self-care, an abundance of self-care, an abundance of self-love, the days that will best help you to manifest self-love would be the 12th, the 21st, the 23rd, the 30th, and the 31st. All of those are really good days for you to practice grounding, practice being in nature, meditation. Breath work is an amazing thing to practice during the self-love, on those self-love days. Practicing gratitude, and also cleaning your space. This could also look like, you actually doing things like yoni steaming. Of course, y'all always know I'm going to suggest yoni steaming. So yoni steaming, doing yoga, being intentional, fasting on these days will be good things as well. But anything that helps you on your personal development and your spiritual hygiene and things like that, those are great days to practice those things on, to amplify your self-love, your self-worth, and your self-care ultimately. And lastly, we have our spiritual abundance. So on what days would you be more amplified to attract spiritual abundance? Those days would be on the 13th, the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 26th. All of those are great days for you to do more work on your spiritual. Those would kind of look the same as the self-care days, but being more intentional on just spiritual abundance, connecting to your Ori, asking yourself questions to your higher self, and trying to literally connect to your higher self, connected to your spirit guides. That could be a day that you are doing some ancestor veneration and talking to your ancestors and trying to connect on a higher level. Those would be good days to do those as well. But obviously the days doing self-care, your spirituality is your self-care as well. So some of those things that you do for self-care would be the exact same things that you will do on your spiritual days as well. So I hope that this information was helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because there's plenty more videos where this came from, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.